It all started in 1940. After the death of his parents, Dick Grayson went on to become Robin, the world's best-known sidekick. Eventually, Dick became his own hero and even stood in for his teacher and mentor, Batman. But no matter what mask he wears, at his heart, he is always Nightwing. Hey, Nightwing fans! It's Phil again. I'm here with issue 2 of my Nightwing special. This time, I'm going to talk to someone you're probably all familiar with, as this is part of Before the Bat, so you better be you better be familiar with this guy. He's a co-host on Before the Bat, on Flash Arrow Power Hour with me, and he does his own Supergirl podcast with his lovely wife. So everyone say hi to Tyler.
Hello everyone, welcome. Phil, it's good to be back, and it's good to be talking some Nightwing.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited.
And this
I'm pumped.
Oh yeah. Like I told everyone last time, this time we're gonna be talking Nightwing's New 52 series.
And I'm glad, we'll jump into this here in a minute, but I'm excited to talk New 52 Nightwing. I mean, out of everything, first of all, out of everything that came out of the New 52, out of all the reboots, I think Nightwing was the strongest story coming out the gate. I think it was just the most, well-conceived idea, and it was just a very strong story.
Well, Cal Higgins, who wrote most of them, except for the last issue, I liked his writing, but I think a lot of the at least Nightwing and Batman were some of the strongest, because I don't think they monkeyed with them as much as they did with most of the DC books after New 52.
And that's exactly right. I mean, they took their time, with those stories. They kind of kept them in a pseudo canon. They didn't completely change it like they did for some of the other characters, where they gave them this really weird existence. So I think that helped keep Nightwing strong. And I love Kyle Higgins' writing. He came out as a huge fan of Dick Grayson.
Oh yeah, if you read or listen to any interview he gives, yeah, he's a huge Dick Grayson fan.
So to me, it was just the perfect writer and the fresh take on Nightwing. Diving back into first of all, the idea of him wanting to create a home for Haley Circus and buying Miracle Mile, that's where the Joker and the Killing Joke took place. I mean, just tying that back into continuity. Dick really trying to go out on his own. But I love, me, I'm a sucker for mythology and backstory and origins. And the fact that they brought in... this is one thing that I love so much, but it makes me frustrated with something else, and I'll get there in a minute. The fact that they brought in the idea that the Haley Circus was tied to the Court of Owls, and that's where they trained their talents and got their new talents, and that Dick Grayson was supposed to become a Talon, I thought that was great. I mean, that is just such interesting writing. The fact that his family origin, the fact that he is a Grey son, a son of the Grey, the fact that, his lineage, where it came from, his family history of being given over to the circus.
Yeah, it gives that character, Dick Grayson, who's already such a great character and important to the DC universe, more importance, just that he's that the whole Haley Circus thing meant something. He wasn't just this orphan kid that Bruce Wayne picked up. It's
fate. They were fated to be together. I mean,
yeah. They
talked about how he's as Nightwing, he's a second-rate bat, but he was supposed to become the most powerful bird with being trained as a Talon, and how they took the other kid from the circus and trained him, but he wasn't supposed to be, so he had more problems. I mean, it's just so good. So good.
Yeah, this series is good, and I mean, that's heavy praise for me, because last episode, me and Lilith were talking about the first 8 issues of Nightwing's first series, and I love that series, especially the first half of it, and even the last half. I mean, there's some parts in the middle, I'm just it's alright, but most of that series, all 153, most of it, I was really jazzed for. And this was probably the one book I was they better not screw this up, and Cal Higgins didn't.
I mean, the first 2 arcs are all tied to the Court of Owls, and I just love it with Nightwing. I love that they bring in Sonya Zuko and that whole relationship that that goes down. Him going after Tony Zuko.
Yeah, but did you like that Tony Zuko was alive now? Because he was dead before.
No, I didn't really like that. I thought it was kind of interesting, but that's one of those New 52 things. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it seemed like a convenient plot device to get him out of town,
But just the whole tying his origin, and like that scene, and I don't remember what issue it is, where Batman like slaps him.
Oh yeah, it's one of the Night of the Owls crossovers, yeah.
And you see it from his point of view in the Nightwing book, but then you see it from Batman's point of view in the Batman book, and you find out that what do you call it? There's his grandfather right there, and Batman's like, "This is your grandfather," and he's like, "What?" Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's just so much good to Nightwing. I mean, it just helps develop Dick's characters. He's already, the most pivotal, I think, DC character, because he is, in a sense, I'm trying to remember where it was quoted, like he was kind of raised by both Batman and Superman. He takes from both of them. Mm-hmm. So it's...
Well, yeah, that's like what me and Lilith were talking about last episode, is like, even more so, pre-New 52, he was such a, he pulled most of the DC Universe together, because even in his first series, like the first couple issues, Batman shows up, Tim Drake shows up, Wally West shows up, because Wally West was Flash at the time, and they were good friends, and even later episodes, Superman showed up. I mean, there was just so many people he knew.
And, Kyle Higgins' writing, I hate that it had to end, and it ended with it going into Grayson. But his writing was just so strong for Nightwing. I mean, it helped me get back into Nightwing just because I didn't know where to get back in to the stories. Because sometimes it's so hard to pick up where things have left off before. But man, when I picked up the first issue of this, I was like, okay, all right, New 52, I'll see. I was hooked from the beginning. Like it's Dick where Dick needs to be. It's his story. It's his continuing his character arc. I love it so much. Like I can't sing it enough praise.
Oh yeah, but that scene you're talking about when Bruce hits him in the that they show in Batman, and they show in Nightwing. The Nightwing issue is Nightwing 7, so.
Okay, so the Batman issue is probably like Batman 7 or 8, because that's what they were.
Yeah.
But it was William Cobb was his grandfather, or great-great-grandfather. So I think he just gives so much more order to the Grayson name, other than just Mary and John where they started. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's interesting though, like, the New 52 Nightwing story has been great, but the New 52 Nightwing costume has not caught on. Like, it's not transferred in any other media well. Like, even all the movies, the DC animated movies where they've pulled from the New 52 inspired, they've gone back to the old Nightwing symbol as their, Nightwing imagery.
Yeah.
And that could be because the New 52 Robin costume looks like Nightwing costume looks like the Robin costume from Batman and Robin without a cape.
But, I was telling Lilith last night, because I don't think she heard this. Do you know why? I read an article or something. Do you know why the reason was that they made his costume red in New 52?
No.
I read that they wanted to link him more closely to the other Robins, because they all had red in their costume, or even red in their name. A lot of them, Red Hood, Red Robin.
That's cool. See, I like that. I can get behind that and support that. Like, I like his costume. I think it looks sweet. I mean, I really want Nightwing to come back.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, I've read some Grayson, and it's good, but it's not Nightwing. And what I was saying is, I felt like when they did the Batman vs. Robin film, where it was Batman, with the Court of Owls and everything, I really felt like it should have had a companion film done with it that was with the Nightwing storyline, because I think that's such a powerful storyline, or even a Nightwing solo film where it told that origin, because I feel like, yeah, the Court of Owls was something important to Batman, but even more, it had something important in a story to tell for Nightwing.
Well, like I was saying last episode, if no other movie, I think when Batman Bad Blood comes out, I want to do a live commentary for this because that's gonna be That's gonna be the big Nightwing movie.
And you know what? I'm happy about that because he needs his own movie. Like, I hate that. Like, one thing that's made me mad is with these DC Direct, they started tying them all together, which that's fine. But what I hate is they stopped making the movies about certain graphic novels or certain characters. Like, the sales for the Wonder Woman movie wasn't, I guess, the greatest, but that is one of their best movies. You know, the Green Lantern First Flight was okay, but I miss when they would take chances and it wasn't either a Batman film or a Justice League movie. Like, even some of the solo Superman films, they've not really done as many of.
Because I know I know Batman stuff sells, and I thought they said Superman stuff sold too.
But, I wanted a solo Flash movie, and we didn't get that. Just the other characters deserve a chance to shine and to come, just to have their own animated film if we're never going to see them in their own live action, but that's all changing now. But especially with Nightwing, I think kind of doing the reverse of, like, the Batman films where you make Nightwing the central character, then have Batman just, like, guest star in it. I think if you use the Court of Owls storyline would be sweet for a Nightwing solo movie. But that's me.
Or even into these live action TV shows, Flash, Arrow, even Supergirl. I mean, they don't want to put Batman or Superman on TV, so, we got Supergirl on TV. Well, do the same thing with Nightwing.
I always said for years, up until just recently where they've done Flash and all that, like a Smallville-esque Nightwing series where basically it's Dick Grayson in college and it goes back to, it shows Dick Grayson when he, got shot and Bruce told him he couldn't be Robin anymore and basically abandoned him, and it's him forming his Nightwing identity. And you have Batgirl as a regular character, Alfred, in appearance every now and then, and like Bruce's voice or something. But the idea that he's going from being Robin to becoming Nightwing and developing that into it, I always thought that'd be a great story to tell. Like, the thing with Nightwing is about maturity, growing out of being a sidekick and becoming your own person, moving out of a shadow, and how that, in a lot of ways, Dick is Batman's opposite, where Batman is unhappy and can't ever grow and have a normal life. Dick can. So, I always thought that would be a great series, and I just think pulling from the New 52, those first arcs of just the circus is just such a strong story, and it's such a personal story. I mean, later we get Nightwing versus the Prankster, and we get, and those are good, don't get me wrong, like, they're great stories, but those first two arcs are just an amazing development of Dick Grayson, and then the third arc goes into the death of the family and just, what happens there. So I guess you could say the first three arcs of Nightwing really puts a lot into the character and what that does for him.
But, I was going to say, yeah, and then right after Death of the Family, we get that Requiem issue where I guess he has to deal with the death of Damian Wayne. Don't worry, people, he gets better.
Yeah. I mean, not to jump off where we're talking about New 52 Nightwing, but even going back and reading those issues, like if you read the issue where Damian dies, or go back and read some Batman and Robin where in the New 52 where Dick and Damian have a relationship, and if you go back and read Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin where it's Dick is Batman and Damian is Robin.
Oh, yeah.
Like, their relationship, which pretty much carries over into the New 52, is very strong. It's very powerful. And just the impact that basically Dick Grayson earns everyone's respect.
Oh yeah, I even said I like Dick and Damian a lot more than Bruce and Damian.
Exactly, I agree with that. Bruce
and Damian are too much alike.
That's the fun with Dick and Damian. Basically, Dick is still the fun, loving, Robin-esque role that he's always been. Even though now he's Batman, and Damian is the brooding Batman Bruce role.
Because Dick is the opposite of Damian. He brings out the better qualities of Damian. Plus, Dick more than anyone knows what it means to be Robin.
Exactly, and I just feel like that was such a strong story, and I don't know, it gets passed up and not forgotten, but to a point it does.
But did you heard, right, that they were saying, remember they were planning that Titans TV show, and I guess it's not going forward now?
Yeah, they canceled it. I know we were excited because Nightwing was supposed to be one of the characters. And I feel like he's one of the most profitable characters that's just on the cusp of really breaking out more and more, and they just don't know what to do with him.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, they're pushing Harley Quinn more and more, and, you know, that's fine. She's a fine character, but like me and Lilith are always saying, I think they're trying to make Harley Quinn their Deadpool.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, they're pushing Harley, I don't know. They're pushing her, I think, because she's the Deadpool analysis is spot on. She's a female character, and they're trying to make her anti-hero-ish, and it doesn't really work that well for me.
Mm-hmm.
But, Nightwing is a fun character. I mean, where's all my Nightwing merchandise? Like, it's out there, but you gotta search for it, You can't walk into the store. Like, I have that Nightwing shirt that we have, Phil. Like, I wear it to work, and people are like, oh my gosh, Nightwing, I love it. That's how you know they're a real fan.
Oh, I know. I have that. You've seen that sticker on my car window?
Yep, I have the same one.
Yeah, we were in a parking lot the one time. I was getting my son out of the car, and some guy just walked by and he's like, yeah, Nightwing.
I mean, it makes you feel good. Like, yes, but we have this secret, bond immediately because you recognize Nightwing. But at the same time, I'm like, Nightwing should be recognized by everybody.
Exactly. Because I had a thing just this week. I was wearing my new Nightwing leather jacket, and
which is amazing.
Yeah, some older guy at work was asking me about it because he said I told him it was Nightwing, and he says I've never heard of that character.
I mean, I remember the first time I learned of Nightwing. You'll probably have to school me a little bit, Phil, on the issue because I have it, but it's packed up in storage right now. So I have it actually. But it was an issue where it was the first time I learned that Jason Todd was Robin. And it's Jason Todd, and he's trying to bust up this gang, and Nightwing shows up, and it has Dick confronting Bruce with everything.
Oh, Batman 416. That was one of my first Nightwings too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And that's when I really learned about Nightwing, and I was like, oh my gosh, because as a kid, sometimes comics weren't as easy to find as a kid, and I would get them sporadically. Like I'd be at the store and might see one, or my dad was in the military, and on Saturdays he'd have to go to the special shop to get stuff for his uniform, and there was a little spinny stack there, and I'd get something, and it was hard to keep track always, but that was the first one I learned that there was a new Robin, because we all know that they didn't do a really good job discerning Jason Todd visually from Dick Grayson. Oh yeah, no, it was probably 3 or 4 issues before that. That was my first Batman issue, and yeah, I was reading and I thought it was Dick Grayson, and all of a sudden Bruce Wayne calls him Jason. And I'm like, wait, Jason? I'm like, who's Jason? Exactly. I mean, they gave him no originality. Every time they try, they just stripped it away, but that's another story. Well, pre-Crisis on Infinite Earths, he had the same exact origin as Dick Grayson. He was a circus acrobat whose parents were killed. Yep, they're like, hey, let's have a new Robin, but let's not think of anything creative. Well, I guess they wanted to give him certain skills, but it's vary it up a little bit. At least after Crisis, they made him a street kid. And now him as Red Hood is a huge character. He's getting more popularity than Nightwing is. Oh, that I don't know about more popularity, but I mean, it just annoyed me. I went into Spencer's at the mall a couple weeks back, and it's just they had Arkham Knight merchandise. Yep. So they had a bunch of Red Hood stuff because he's in the game, and I was like, what? I was looking through the store. I'm like, you have Red Hood merchandise, but I might be able to find one Nightwing thing in here, like a hat or something. Come on. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. His popularity's growing. Because he's if you want to make his Marvel equivalent, some people will say Punisher, but I think it's more Winter Soldier. Oh, yeah. Red Hood versus Winter Soldier. That's one of the matches in our new Marvel vs. DC podcast that's up now. Which I'm downloading to listen to later on today. Oh, let's go. We'll first Charlie. It's great. And, talking about Nightwing, because I feel with the New 52, I felt it was a fresh start. Also with the Injustice game really brought Nightwing's character out more. Because he's pivotal in that story. But I still don't feel like he's getting his just due. I mean, like you just said, I went into a FYE and they had a Nightwing shirt and I freaked because
Yeah.
it was awesome. But at the same time, they had Red Hood socks, Red Hood this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, Red Hood is not that great. Like, it's like he's the, what's the word I'm searching for? Hero of the time that people can just jump on.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, oh my gosh, Red Hood. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where's Nightwing?
Exactly. Anytime I see any DC merchandise, I'm like, where's Nightwing?
I just, like you, I feel like Nightwing is one of the best characters.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to say they're stupid for not promoting him more, but it's just like, Batman sells, and Nightwing and Dick Grayson are basically Bruce Wayne, except
it's in the
not a douche, you know?
Yeah, it's in the Bat family, you know?
Yeah.
The Bat family sells. And I get that. But Nightwing to me is, it's like he's Batman with the ideology of Superman.
He's Batman with a personality.
So, I mean, there's so much he can do, and I'm just like, why do we not have all this Nightwing stuff? Like,
I know, and plus they say that, like, Dick Grayson is, like, one of the most popular comic characters with women, so it's like...
Yeah, I mean, they have the I Love Dick shirts, which I'm not getting, but...
We can get one for Zach. I'm sorry.
I thought about getting one for Virginia, but I think it's hilarious. But at the same, like, you know, you go to superherostuff.com, you can find Nightwing merchandise, and I'm like, that's cool, but I want to walk into Walmart and pick up a Nightwing shirt, you know? Mm-hmm. I can walk into Walmart and find Deadpool and all this other stuff. I want to be able to walk into Walmart and find Nightwing. Like,
oh, yeah.
That is my goal. Like, I want... Because once you get in Walmart, you've made it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And that's my big thing is, like...
Oh, I got a Nightwing Funko figure sitting here on the desk, and you want to know how long it took me to track this down, finally?
Yes, I do, because you need to tell our listeners, they need to know the truth.
It was at least months. It could have been a year or more, because, like, I think I saw one once, and I was going to get it, and for some reason I didn't, and then I'd go back to the store, and they were gone, and then, like I said, it could have been a year or more. I finally saw one at, was this Barnes & Noble? It might have been. It was something like that, and I was like, I have to get it now. I don't want it to disappear again.
So I found an awesome Nightwing baseball tee, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want this so bad, and Janine was like, okay, sure. And I was like, do they have it in my size? And no, they did it. And then they're like, oh, look online. Didn't have it online.
Yeah, and then sometimes some stuff, like some of the figures, like I'm looking up for Nightwing, some of them I guess they don't make anymore, and they're so rare, they were so expensive.
I know, it's like, okay, we get it. He's the most popular character. How about you give him his just due?
I mean, like, you can market him to anyone, you know, men, women, even kids. I mean, make a cartoon, you can make a cartoon with, like, you know, he's not Batman, so you can have the humor and...
I mean, they did a great job with, like, one of my favorite parts, like, the movies weren't that great for adults and kids, they were more just straight kids, but was the Animal Instinct and, what was the other one? The Batman Unlimited films.
Mm-hmm.
Those, Nightwing and those were awesome.
Yeah, or even, like, the Teen Titans stuff, it's just, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Dick Grayson in there.
So, I don't know, I just think there's a lot that can be done with a character that's so great and powerful, and they do very little.
They could do more.
Yes.
But did you read issue 0 of the new 52 series?
Of Nightwing?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, did you see where, like, you know, Bruce Wayne brings him in and, like, Dick's like, yeah, I already figured out who you are, Bruce Wayne.
And I love it. I mean, I love just, like, how he gets his Robin costume and he shows up at the end and he's helping him fight. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I don't know. I just think it's so good.
Yeah, I don't like some of the changes they made in New 52, but I like that because they show that he's naturally a good detective.
Yes.
Because, I mean, that's the other thing a lot of times they don't play up is he is a good detective. He learned from Batman, and he's probably second only to Batman, you know?
Or third, because you have good old, what do you call it? Tim.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know, because kind of like pre-New 52, so I don't know if it, you know, they wiped that from continuity, but like, you know, Bruce trained Dick, and like, Dick did a lot of Tim's training. Like, I think there was an issue at Titans or two. There was an issue at Titans where, like, Bruce sent Tim to, like, learn from Dick for, like, a day or two. Where they, like, Dick and Tim went to this park or something, and, like, he told Tim, he's like, here, just sit down. And they sat there for, like, hours. And Tim's like, well, what is this, a test? This, like, you know, test my patience or whatever. And then at the end, like, after a couple hours, Dick was like, okay, what did you see? He's like, what? And he was like, okay, there was a guy with 2 kids. What were the kids wearing? And just, like, testing his powers of observation.
Which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one of those, like, are you studying?
Well, he said, he's like, we've been sitting here for 8 hours. He's like, you didn't pick up everything?
So, I don't know. I just think that Nightwing is the best character. Like, I honestly love Nightwing so much, more than other characters that get way too much credit.
Yeah, because, I mean, we're talking New 52 now, but you could basically pick up any solo Nightwing book and it's going to be good. Even, like, the ones that probably aren't as good as the others, you're still going to get a good read. You have to work pretty hard to mess up this character.
Yes. Yes, you do. Like I said, but if you're looking to get into Nightwing, if you're interested, I think, joining in the New 52 is a good spot to jump in. Just because there is a really solid story with his arcs for everything. So.
But just doing research for this, while I was doing research for these episodes, yeah, I think a lot of it's in trade paperbacks, like New 52 and even the previous series, because that's my last episode we did the first 8 issues of the last series, because that was like the first trade paperback.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of that's in trade too, so.
Trade paperbacks are great.
Mm-hmm.
That's my go-to, just because I feel like there's so much that you can get from the trade that you can't always get, just because the cost is better of the trade, I think.
Yeah, a lot of times.
And they'll tie in so much story that you might not had even thought about.
Yeah, like if it's a storyline that like weaves between different books, sometimes they'll add them together.
Yep, they'll drop in an issue or a page or two from another story, and you're like, oh, okay, and you're like, this makes sense. But yeah, I highly recommend it so much for New 52. I mean, going back sometimes with the older stories is a little difficult, just because there is some background you might not know, some stories you might not know, that you're like, okay, what do I need to know to get into this story? And I feel like with the New 52, it was really good about just kind of like catching you up. This is what you need to know. This is what Grayson's experienced. And that was it,
Oh, yeah. Alright, so let's go. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. If you haven't read Nightwing New 52, go read it. If you say you hate the New 52, I understand. We can argue that later. But just go read Nightwing. The first 12 issues, if nothing else. Just go read the first 12 issues, come back, we'll argue, okay? And you will, I'm telling you right now, you'll be like, you know what, Tyler? You're right. You were perfectly right. So, final thoughts is that Nightwing is the best and DC needs to do more with him.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts, Phil?
For
this segment of New 52.
I don't know what I can add to that. You're pretty good. Like I said, I was worried about them messing up my favorite character in New 52, and it was probably one of the strongest books.
So.
Alright. Well, so, like Tyler said, do your homework, go read the New 52 series if you haven't already, and upcoming episodes, I'm not sure the order of some of these, but we'll be talking Nightwing's appearances in Batman Gotham Knights, in Battle for the Cow, and his first appearance as Nightwing way back in New Teen Titans, the Judas Contract. So,
oh, that would be cool.
If anyone wants to do your homework, go back and read those storylines.
All right. Well, thank you, Phil, for having me with you on this awesome episode of Nightwing.
Hey, no problem. But Tyler, where can people find you?
People can find me at the great and powerful. No, I'm just playing. People can find me at JTYPatrick on Twitter and Facebook and Gmail. Also, you can hear me and my beautiful wife, Jania, discuss Supergirl at the Krypton Report. We're a little behind in our episodes because of computer problems I've been having, I had to get my computer fixed. So it's going to be done, and then we'll be able to actually record correctly and get caught up there. And you can also find me at Before the Bat, the Gotham podcast with Phil. And then, of course, the Flash Arrow Power Hour of tomorrow, because we're going to be talking some Legends tomorrow here soon. So You'll find us. But all right, well, have a great day, Phil.
Hey, thank you.
All right, man. Bye.
All right, bye. And anyone, if you want to share your thoughts on any episode you've heard so far, especially this one with Tyler, or your thoughts for, like I said, the coming episodes, Batman Gotham Knights, Batman Battle for the Cow, or Teen Titans The Judas Contract, you can email us, worldsfinestpod@gmail.com. On Facebook, we're World's Finest Podcast, and on Twitter, we're at World's Finest Pod. Alright, well, that's it for this time. Come back next issue. Like I said, I'm not sure the order, but it'll be something fun, of course, because it's Nightwing. Good night, everyone.